evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fan Experience TV. Thank you for joining us again. For those of you joining us for the first time, my name is Mike Catos. Alongside me is my co-host, Rick Molina. Rick, we got a lot going on.
Oh, we got a lot going on, Mike. Good to talk to everybody tonight. I mean, where do you begin? NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball's heating up. You got Pedro Martinez with his comments. I mean, Durant with his performance. The list goes on and on. But I'll let you start it off tonight. Again, your boy Jacob deGrom, the event, as I like to call it, taking place tonight, and he's just mowing them down. So, fill us in on that.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob deGrom came out firing, as he always does tonight. It's that spectacle that everyone wants to see, and you see this like 8-year-old, 9-year-old fan in the stands just like, really invested in the game and just watching, this generational player just go to work. Yeah. Strikes out the first batter, gets a fly ball for the second batter, and then mows down 7 in a row via the strikeout to get 8 strikeouts in the first 9 batters. Perfect game through 3. Gets an RBI single in the bottom of the third as well. And right shoulder soreness. He tweaked his shoulder a little bit on one of the pitches on an 11 or 12 pitch at bat to Sogard, I believe it was. And, it was a great at bat by the batter, but he ended up ending that with a strikeout. But one of those pitches, you could see he was visibly, affected by one of them, and it was his shoulder, and they did not send him out for the 4th. His day was done, but 3 perfect innings, 8 strikeouts in 9 batters. Not something that you see very often. 33 pitches into the game. So it remains to be seen, what's going on over there. He had that right flexor tendonitis. But he did lower his ERA to 0.54 with those 3 perfect innings. He raised his batting average to 423 in his first 11 starts, and got another RBI to have 6 on the year, his career high, and has still only given up 4 earned runs with not having his best stuff, I guess, today, because he was a little sore there. But he's obviously we want to hope that he is good to go for his next one. If they have to sit him down for a little bit, just to make sure he gets right, we're in the middle of the season. So take any precautions that you have to, and, make sure this guy is right for when it really matters.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a concern, tweak, he's been hurt a couple times this year. He had that tendon you were talking about. Now it's his shoulder, so last thing you want is any
2 things in your pitching arm.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with the arm that he's been gifted with. So you want to be cautious with that. If you have to sit him out a couple of starts, so be it, until he is just comfortable out there. Because right now what he's doing is just going out there and throwing heat, and nobody can hit it.
Yeah, and, 101 with minimal effort.
Right. So you just want to make sure he's safe. But you're right, man. I mean, it's like the guy's out there. It's like he's doing it all by himself out there. He's hitting, he's pitching, he's fielding. I mean, he's running the team pretty much. I mean, he's doing everything out there. It's just incredible. And like I said, every time he takes the mound now, wherever he goes, wherever he's pitching, it's an event. You have to go see the guy. You can't take the guys off him. You don't know what he's going to do. And it's just an event. And, let's hope that he doesn't get hurt, that he's not off for a long period of time, because the Mets right now are rolling. They're playing pretty well. What are they in the division? What are their standings right now in the division?
They're in first by
they're in first.
4 games, 5 games, right. I think.
Yeah, they're up 4 or 5
Phillies
games.
Lost yesterday to the Dodgers, so I think they're 5 up.
Right. So they want to go into the All-Star break in about a month, just with good momentum for the second half of the season, and just keeping this thing rolling. But you're right, man. I mean, we talked about it Monday night. This guy, it's just, what else can you say about him? And then on the flip side, you got the Yankees, who looks like they finally put a tire and a steering wheel back on the van that's off in the ditch somewhere. As they got a win the other night. They got a 4-2 lead. Seems that they got a little life. Brian Cashman said this is, his statement was earlier, we have to, sleep in this bed that we made, or I think that's what it was. And so they're not making any changes. They're like, this is the team, this is the manager, we're moving forward with this, so be it. So we'll see how it plays out. They're up right now.
3-2. Yep.
3-2, but they need a little life. Meanwhile, last night in the NBA, you had one of the all-time playoff performances by Kevin Durant, who had 49 points with a James Harden who
was it 49 or 45? 47.
Was it 49 or 45? You could be right.
It was 45, 17, and 10.
All right, 45. It was close to 50, but
yeah,
he had one of those moments where you just sit there and watch, and you're like, it's incredible why he is one of the great players of the game. Putting Brooklyn on their back, obviously with James Harden, kind of limping around out there. But he drops 45. They were down 17 in that game too. They were down 17 in that game. They made that run. They came back. And if you're Milwaukee, man, you better hope that Game 6 behind that crowd, you can tie this series up because, if Harden now with a game under him, to rust off a little bit, feeling a little better. If Durant's playing like he did last night, they don't stand a chance. I don't know how they do.
Yeah.
They should be killing them in the paint, but like Charles Barkley said, they're shooting threes. So.
I mean, the Bucks have to have their MVP Giannis
be an MVP.
Show up, and their backs are against the wall right now. But yeah, I mean, Harden playing was definitely a welcome sight to see.
Yeah,
he was ruled out the night before, then it went into questionable, and then he ended up, playing about 40 minutes, close to 40 minutes, and taking some of the pressure off Durant just by defenses alone. Like I think he only sunk one shot. But he got a couple of rebounds, got a couple of assists to help out the team, and taking defense off of Durant because if you're double teaming, triple teaming Durant's not having that kind of a night. But it's good to see that Durant, their big money guy, that guy that they really wanted to bring in, was able to put the team on his back and take care of business the way they should have. They got a powerhouse of a team. They have a ridiculous roster, but they're plagued by injuries right now. And for Durant to do what he did, obviously shows a lot about, why they needed him in the first place. It was definitely a nice sight to see for Brooklyn Nets fans all over.
Yeah, and Game 6 is going to be crazy in Milwaukee. Like you said, Giannis has got to show up. He's got to do what Durant did last night. He's got to put the team on his back. He's got to drop. He's got to have a 30-point game. I mean, he's got to have a triple double, 30, 10, and whatever it is. 5 blocks, 6 blocks. A bunch of assists. He's got to dominate that game. They're killing him in the paint. I don't know why they're chucking threes. Just give it to him and let him go to town on him. Blake Griffin can't stop him. Nobody can stop him out there.
That's why you become MVP, right?
Yeah, and also. This came out today. Kawhi Leonard looks like he tore his ACL. He has an ACL injury. He's definitely out for Game 5. Huge blow. For the greatness of Kawhi Leonard, he's great. He is brittle, man. He gets hurt a lot. Knees, shins. He gets hurt a lot. Now I can see why they do the load management with him. But man, blowing out your ACL, that's tough. If that's what the injury is, that's just tough.
Yeah, it is. It's tough. So I guess we could table a couple of other news and notes and some of the other stuff going on around the league. Right now, we're going to welcome our special guest for episode 90. And he's one of the reasons that we even started episode 1 because one of the first supporters of Playing the Field, which ended up turning into Fan Experience TV. So please help us in welcoming Mike Scharfenberg to the show.
Let's go, boys. How we doing?
How we doing? Thank you very much for finally making it. Making it. I know we were rolling and we were booked ahead and we're finally here.
Hey, we got the big triple-headed monster at GamePlanU, but you got to save the best for last, right?
Yep. Rob was here, Denise, and there you go. Best for last. And you were the first one I met and last one here. But you found me, a little over a year ago after, taking a look at Playing the Field and brought me into the GamePlanU and been super grateful for that. And, through learning from you, Rob, Denise, and all this amazing stuff that you guys were doing, went and started this thing. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, no. And kudos to you, Mike and Rick, and what you guys have done with this. I mean, Mike, from day one when we met, like you could tell, the one thing I looked for is people that have that mental mindset, that, that hunger to not give up and to always grow and get better. And I saw you had it. And, this, from where you were then to where you are now, it's night and day. So kudos to you guys, and just excited to be here.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So this is Fan Experience TV. So for those new viewers that don't know, it's really about, sports and that fan experience and what really drives you into the love of the game, whatever sport it is that you choose. So talk to us about how you developed a love for sports and, what really drew you in.
Well, from day one, I know you're not going to like this, Mike. For day one, I had Yankee pinstripes on from probably about 10 minutes out of the womb. I had Yankee pinstripes.
A little onesie. All right, Yankee onesie. I got it.
Always. So that's kind of where it started. And just growing up, I grew up in a little neighborhood where there was a lot of kids, and just being active. I just never had that bug to play video games or to sit inside. Like, I needed to be outside doing something. And that always being active and playing led to being competitive. I was a little bit overly competitive when I was younger. So it was one of those things I definitely had to work on as I grew older and learn how to kind of manage that. But it really just started from being active and just engaging with other people in one activity.
Yeah, I mean that's really what it's all about. And hey, competition is is a lot of fun if you don't get too carried away with it.
Well, the competition is critical, especially in business and in life. But when you're 6 years old and you're throwing a bat when you strike out in backyard wiffle ball, that might be a little bit too much.
Nah, you're good. Rick, I'll pass it on to to your fellow Yankee fan, Rick, over there.
Well, it's great to be here. I'm glad to see there's finally a Yankee fan. Like, we get all Mets fans here, we get fans from everywhere. So, what is your first memory? You watch the Yankee. The first Yankee memory you can think of when you think about the New York Yankees.
So that's tough. So I was born in '95.
Okay.
I think the biggest one for me that I have a couple little ones here and there, but the first one that really sticks out, Aaron Boone's home run.
Oh,
in 2003, because that was one that my
Mm-hmm.
parents, they didn't know I was still up, and I snuck back downstairs, and I remember seeing that, and it was just, I will never forget that moment and the chills that I had. Joe Buck's call, and ever since then been locked in as much as I can to Yankee baseball.
And who was, and as far as the Yankees goes, so I'm obviously a little older than both of you, but for me it was Jeter. Who was the player for the New York Yankees that you looked up to, you admired, as you were growing up and watching the team?
Oh, I hate to be repetitive, but I mean, it's the captain.
It's the captain. That's it. Yep.
And in the beginning, growing up, it was his performance on the field, right?
Yeah.
And that you see the stats and all that, and that's all great. And as you get older and you start to get into business and you kind of dissect his career, you gain that much more of an appreciation.
Yeah.
What he did as a leader, how he handled himself in adversity, how he spoke for the organization and never had a bad thing to say. He never put his teammates under the bus. I mean, he's just the perfect example of what an athlete should be.
Yeah, I mean, it as a lifelong Mets fan, he's that player that you kind of love to hate, but like his moniker is respect, and with the two and whatever, it's just you have to respect what he did for the game of baseball, is still doing for the game of baseball, and he's just one of those iconic names that you're going to think of when you think of baseball in this era and to come.
Yeah, he's in the class with like the Tom Brady's, the LeBron James. Like, you either love him or you hate him, but regardless, you respect him. You respect the greatness. Yeah.
So you also, so you're a huge Yankee fan. You're huge into sports, and you ended up at some point. You ended up working with the Yankees, correct?
I did. I had a really great opportunity in college. One of my professors had a connection down with the Yankees, and they don't post their job openings for pretty much anything, and it's all just word of mouth referrals. As Mike, with starting the business, it's all who you know and who knows you, right? So had that opportunity to get my resume passed along, and 2 interviews later, a 7-hour group interview at the stadium, and was lucky enough to be one of 12 selected on the 2019 Yankees summer sales team. So that was it was quite the summer. Of the one decision I regret was not moving down to the city and getting an apartment. It was Metro North coming down an hour and a half.
Oh man!
Transplant of Harlem 125th.
Yep.
Good old days, and there's nothing better than game days in a suit. Transferring from Harlem to the Bronx, but no, it was the most incredible experience of my life. Just met so many incredible people, and it really solidified that my core career. Obviously I have a bunch of side hustles and passions, but my core career is on the professional sports side and on the ticket sales and service partnerships, things like that.
Yeah, and obviously you're doing a great job with it. You've tried your hand in a few different teams. You even worked for the I think the Nationals after that, right? Right after they won, right? You didn't get a ring?
I did not get a ring. And ironically enough, I guess technically you could. I really don't know where to go with this because I signed an offer letter. But technically, I never stepped foot in.
Because of that's right.
So I got the offer in March of 2019 or of 2020. And that was kind of when COVID hit. And
that's right.
The last couple months, we were kind of on edge of what are we doing here? Like, are we going to, and eventually it was actually 2 days before I was going to sign my lease. Thank God that didn't happen. Unfortunately. But at that point, it was one of those moments where it's like, you have 2 options, right? You could either, you could stay down, or you can pivot and look for the positives and grow from it and impact others. And that's where my podcast, Interview with Influencers, started. I realized I had a blessed network of individuals, and I wanted to give them a platform to share their story and to help out others, such as myself, that were in a tough situation. And one thing led to another. I had 2 amazing guests on, the director of sales with the Titans, Jim Rice, and the inside sales manager, Joey Meredith, and we built a relationship. And like we said earlier, the power of relationships, and one thing led to another. And now I'm down here in Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Nashville pictures behind you. You got guitars going on, microphones. Oh, yeah. So you're really soaking in that Nashville flair over there. So you're really living it. And how is it down there?
Oh, it's a different world. It's a different world down here. I think the biggest thing is coming from the East Coast. You got to realize you need to slow down. Tone it down, whether your speech, how you walk, just walking through the grocery store, like everything's a little bit slower here. And it's pretty obvious where you're from when you meet. People know exactly you're from the East Coast. But no, there's so much positive momentum in this city. When the tornado came through East Nashville last year, and there's a lot of devastation there, but how the community rebounded is now making East Nashville one of the places to be in terms of, and then you have the Preds, who are young and made the playoffs, and obviously the Titans with everything they've been doing in the front office and the renovations, and there's just so much positive energy here in Nashville, and you couldn't be in a better situation. I'm blessed to be a part of the whole city and everything that's going on here.
Yeah, no, well, congratulations on that, and best of luck down there. Rick, I guess you could touch on that Titans and all the stuff that we got going on now.
No, I know, but I'm curious. So when did the thought come in? They said, "Hey, I should start this podcast to talk about it." Like, when did you first get the idea to create it?
So I'll give it a shout out to Rob Thompson.
Okay.
He pushed you a little bit as well, but I went to Rob and I said, I want to help. There's other so many students out there, college kids that are in the same boat as I am. What can I do? I want to help. And he goes, "What are your thoughts on a podcast?" And I'm like, at that point, I love talking. I love helping, but podcasts, I don't know. Yeah. And we did 1 or 2 together. And ever since then, I kind of took the reins on that. And with the whole mindset of being, how can I touch as many people as I can and help as many people as I can? And, now 26 episodes later.
Nice.
It's been a crazy, crazy ride. Met so many incredible people. And I think really the greatest part that came out of this is all parties are benefiting. The students now get direct line of communications to these hiring managers, exactly what they're looking for. They also have their LinkedIn and their emails, so you're able to reach out there. Yeah. And I actually had 2 students reach out to managers that were on the show that ended up getting hired by those teams.
Nice.
It just kind of comes full circle of creating this community similar to what you guys are doing, and just people helping people.
And so you've been pretty successful. Yankees, Nationals, Titans. For young people who watch our show and they're looking to get into the business, what kind of advice, what could you give them to say, that can give them a leg into some of these jobs? Because like you said, jobs like that don't get posted. So what can you tell, our young viewers how they can break in?
So there's a few pieces of advice. Number one, you got to have a growth mindset. Period. End of discussion. You could either be a growth minded or victim mindset, right? When the pandemic hit, where are you going? Are you going to stay down, or are you going to say, I don't give a shit, I got knocked down. Let's get right back up and let's go. So number one is don't be the victim of your circumstance, be the author. Number two, you got to have a high level of unacceptance. You have to. You're going to fail. You're going to get knocked down. You're not going to get a promotion. You're going to reach out to 4 or 5 managers, going to send your application out 30 times. You may hear back from 1. Don't accept that. If you want something, you got to go out and get it. And I think third, and maybe most importantly, how are you going to separate yourself? This is the biggest one. And so there is a website, Teamwork Online. I'm kind of surprised they haven't sent me a cease and don't get me wrong, they're a great resource.
Yeah.
And that is where these organizations post jobs for students and for whoever, when they're looking to hire at whatever position. That being said, you know how many applicants they get? I spoke with my manager the other day when they posted an inside sales opening. They had over 1,000 applicants.
Wow.
You're getting a pool of so much talent, especially now with the whole pandemic. You could have the best resume in the world. Odds are they're not going to see it. So how do you present yourself and get to the front of that line? Yeah. I always like to say, at Six Flags or any amusement park, you can buy those fast passes.
Yeah.
To cut the whole line. What is your cheat code? What is your talent? So for me, it was being genuine and just having a conversation. So I'd reach out on LinkedIn and would love to hear about your organization and just kind of get to know a little bit about you and your background. 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes. You impress them on the 15-minute call. They'll say, look, and we're hiring. We'd love to get your resume. So it's all about just separating yourself, knowing what your talents are and doing it. If you love writing, if you're a great writer, start a blog, start a podcast, do something that's going to present you in a higher regard to get you to cut that line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. No, that's great advice. And yeah, you have to put yourself out there. You have to keep pushing. And you mentioned about, LinkedIn and connecting that way. And it really, I wasn't until about right before me and you connected that I started starting to use LinkedIn as a professional networking tool. I thought it was just, there for jobs, and you can go on there, you could search jobs like you would on Indeed or Career Builder or whatever. But then I went into that networking mindset, trying to grow playing the field. And then sure enough, I get an email from Mike over here. Besides him having an awesome name,
which you said right, by the way. It doesn't happen often, so kudos to you on that one. But
yeah, and we connected, and you brought me into GamePlanU, and I've been connecting with people on LinkedIn ever since, and growing my network and meeting amazing people. Ended up getting a chance to go on many different shows. Had opportunities to pitch, for GamePlanU and different other things, and finalist on David Meltzer's 2-minute drill, coming up. And, it's all a testament of just putting yourself out there. And I was a huge introvert before 2 years ago. If you'd said I was starting a podcast, let alone guest starring on one, I would call you crazy. And we're 90 episodes in now because I went into GamePlanU. I saw Rob doing his podcast. I saw you doing your podcast. I saw Denise doing her things, and I'm like, why can't I just do it? Yeah, I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified. I went through a couple of months, was like, oh, maybe I'll just find a host. I can't host myself. And here we are 90 episodes later. And the biggest regret that I have is being scared and not starting sooner. I think Rick would agree. Like, we're having a blast, doing this. And, it's just amazing, how much, you can learn about even yourself by, just putting yourself out there. But talk to us a little bit about LinkedIn, because you found me there. I know you found a lot of other startups. You obviously, you've positioned yourself to get these awesome jobs. What are your biggest takeaways from LinkedIn?
I mean, if you're not on the LinkedIn wave right now, you're lost. I'm sorry. You're lost. But the thing is, you have to use it right. There's a lot of wrong ways to be using LinkedIn. I mean, I'm sure both of you just get, hammered with spam and people trying to sell you crap. It's one of those things. You have to be genuine. You can't just knock on somebody's door and walk in and say, "Hey, buy my product." You can't do that. It doesn't work anymore. Right? Yeah. You need to, if you're on LinkedIn and you're in sales and you're looking for business development, build relationships, you'll end up selling eventually if it's meant to be. So that's number one. I think number two is you have to open yourself up. Don't just post about work. Because people buy from two people they like, trust, right? People they like, people they trust. So open yourself up to post about maybe a tough time you had in your personal life, right? Or open up to a post of your family and how much they mean to you. I know one of the posts I posted recently that got a lot of traction was down the street from me, there was a telephone pole that had a cart on it. And that was the neighborhood basketball hoop. And I just posted how the kids were out there every day grinding. It didn't matter about their circumstance. It got a lot of traction, and I actually networked, and now I've had 3 or 4 virtual coffees and some potential business through that post. So don't go in with an agenda, be genuine, and just open yourself up is some of the big advice. And I think overall, just get on LinkedIn. Get in the game, and if you haven't done it yet and you're not comfortable with it, ask. I would love to have a conversation about how I utilize LinkedIn. I know Mike, Rick, you guys both would love to chat with anybody about it. And who knows where that could lead. It could lead to a friendship. It could lead to business. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what? 80% of the guests that we've had on the show have come from LinkedIn. And honestly, it's not about viewers for us. It's not about hits and virality and whatever, because that stuff will come. Like it's not about that. It's just about the consistency, and it's about us having a good time and building relationships with these just amazing people. Like I would have never crossed paths with a couple of these people in a million years. Yeah. And because of LinkedIn, it's made it all possible, and there's a couple of people that, I've got pinch me moments that, I even had the opportunity to have on this show, people that, I saw play, in professional sports, and they're coming on our show, and, people that are big names in many different, avenues of the industry, and just building those relationships. And, like you said, it's not the people that it's the people that know you. And, it's just all those relationships are the best part about this whole show. And the fact that it's just fun and easygoing. Yeah. That's the best part too.
And the best part is, and this happened the other day, and I had a very high level executive reach out, and just out of respect for him and privacy, I'm not going to say his name, but he reached out on LinkedIn, and he said, "I've been watching what you're doing from day one. I'd love to grab dinner. I've been very, very impressed with you."
It's great, man.
You never know who's watching. That's what you're going to get. Like, you guys, you're out there crushing. Who cares how many views you got? You never know. It's always the silent ones that are watching leads that are the ones that are going to make the biggest impact.
So I'm curious. So how did you get involved with GamePlanU? I mean, tell us about that, because I know Mike's in it. He always talks about it. So how did you get involved with GamePlanU?
Yeah, great question. So I graduated from the University of New Haven, a business management concentration sport degree. And during my time there, Rob Thompson was a Charger alum as well. And, after he sold his last business, North American Sport Group, he came back to the university in fundraising. But he was also a career coach, having spent time in the NFL and at the Walt Disney Company. He was kind of wearing 2 hats. And him and I connected. It was an extra credit assignment to go meet with Rob. As crazy as it sounds, it was an extra credit assignment to meet with Rob. And as crazy as this sounds, only 2 students out of the entire course went to meet with him, which I just find absolutely.
Wow.
And you got 5 points in the final grade, and only 2 people.
Wow.
That's a story for a different day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So Rob and I connected, had a really great chat. It was actually, ironically enough, right before one of his podcasts, and it was right before I was going to start with the Yankees. And he said, "Let's just stay in touch," and had a great experience there. And we reconnected in the fall, and he asked how my experience went, and I just said, I got to help so many people. I got to create so many memories, and from there, we just kind of clicked with our passion for helping others and being a problem solver and just having fun. So he said, "Listen, we have this event in Orlando coming up. We're putting together a 12, 15 founders, and it's going to be a little pitch competition, workshop session, and would love your help in just vetting as much talent as you can, and let's see what you can do." So no responsibilities whatsoever,
right?
No expectations, and the event in Orlando came, and I onboarded 9 of the 12 startups that came down, and
great.
From there it just kind of took off. We had the next cohort group, which Mike was a part of. We had 15 founders join us, and one thing led to another, and so my role kind of formulated into the really the executive director of business development. So that's the onboarding of talent and entrepreneurs, vetting them through the process of, is it a good fit for our community? Like we said before in the beginning, do you have those personality traits that we're looking for? So number one, doing that, obviously being your point of contact, and then kind of dipping my feet in everything else. And, similar to Denise, when I started, I didn't have much experience in sport technology. And like when you started the podcast, Mike, like you're nervous, like you have no idea. Like,
the first show was
awful. The first show, forget about it. I'm gonna throw up just thinking about it.
I'll tell you, I'll never forget my first call with that I had with a founder, and I'm asking, what do you need? What are your challenges? And he's speaking about, well, I'm looking for this convertible note, and I'm sitting back, I'm like, what? Excuse me? And I'm Googling, what's a convertible note? So it was, but you learn. Yeah. Right. And then you never forget what those things are. So that's really how it got started. It was an opportunity with no real expectations, and just goes to show that you work hard and you really care about something, and it'll pay you back times 10.
And I know you work for the Titans, and that must be a great role, but it seems to be like you're at the direction that your passion is in sort of, public speaking and helping people out and coaching and mentoring. So, I mean, are you doing sort of a dual track thing, or eventually are you just going to shift to sort of, like sort of the like an influencer kind of thing?
Well, great question. I wonder how you could tell I'm passionate about helping.
I don't know. I just think it was a hunch.
Yeah, it's a hunch. It's a hunch.
No, so leadership for me is number one. Okay. I want to get in the leadership side. I think so. I actually started out a physical education major and spent 3 years doing that before I kind of took a semester off. Because I loved helping people, but I knew I'm like, I can't teach lesson plans year after year. Well, I needed something, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, where I found sales, but for me, it's getting into leadership. Whether it's a director of sales or a director of partnerships, and being able to coach and help others, because I get just as much joy out of closing a $20,000 deal as I do as helping someone close a $20,000 deal. So for me, it's leadership. And it's always having the side hustles, whether it's a career coach or starting a platform like that, or it's continuing my work with GamePlanU and helping founders. I know that's a part of my heart and part of my soul now, that 2 years ago, if you asked me, I would have had no idea. So for me, it's, I think, number one, day career is getting into leadership, and then those side hustles of being a career coach and continuing to influence founders.
Yep. You got one right here. Definitely. Like I said at the start of this interview, grateful for, you reaching out when you did, and really just giving me some motivation, validation in playing the field. So how did you come across me, and what went through your mind when you first saw, what was going on?
Yeah, great question. So for me, I had to learn how to prospect. via LinkedIn, because there's not. I mean, now there's different sites that you could go to find entrepreneurs, right? But back when we connected, there weren't that many, or if they were out there, I didn't know about them.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just searching on LinkedIn, looking up founders, searching sport technology founder or co-founder, going to Lead Accelerator, Hype Accelerator, Stadia, and looking at posts that they made and looking who liked the post. We go as grassroots as possible. And I can't remember exactly what I searched to find your profile, but the number one thing that caught my attention was, number one, the logo. Love the logo. Number two was just the general concept behind it. I know for me, having dabbled with dating apps, that's the number one thing. Number one question. Yeah, you had the small talk at the beginning, but how do you feel about sports? Because that's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
As much 100%, as I'll watch The Bachelor with you, that's fine. But after that, we're putting on Game 5. That's what we're doing. So at the end of the day, I love the concept. And after we spoke, like I said, I could tell you had those traits and qualities that we were looking for. And one thing led to another, and here we are.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think we were going to be here. I definitely, when we first talked, I was definitely not anticipating being 90 episodes deep into not only just a podcast, a live video stream. So I really just went for the gusto and went all out. And but I've been blessed with a amazing co-host, which makes it even more enjoyable and a lot more fun. Even though we have to fight against Mets Yankees quite a bit, but at least we live in each other's misery with the Jets.
I want to jump on here. So obviously you work for the Yankees. Me and Mike talk about the Yankees. I said it on the show Monday. The plane has hit the mountain. The van is off the ditch with no wheels in the steering wheel, no gas cap. What is going on with this team?
I'm going to throw it back at you. What are you thinking?
I'm telling you right now, this team has no life. I just think they are missing what Joe Girardi brought to the team. I think Aaron Boone is listen, like you said, Game 7, home run off Wakefield. He will forever be remembered for that. But I think this team is sort of complacent. I think they have no life. I think there's just no fire. And obviously, baseball's 162 games. It's not about fire or passion, but they need a wake up call because they're sleepwalking through the season. And honestly, I think and even the fan base looks at Aaron Boone as a guy who's, the analytics tell him what to do. He doesn't have sort of he's told what to do. He doesn't have a sort of his own independent streak of this is the way we're going to do things. The fan base feels it. I think people around the team see it that way. They see as Cashman runs the team. And so I think they need a shakeup. And like I told Mike, 10 days, 2 weeks, we'll find out. But this team is in dire need of a shakeup in the worst way. That's what I think.
I'm torn. I'm so torn. There's two pieces to this. Number one is how it was constructed.
Okay.
Just not having any left-handed bats.
Yeah.
We miss. How bad do we miss Didi in the lineup? I mean,
tremendous. I don't know why they let him go. Obviously, I knew because of Glaber and LeMahieu, but that left-handed bat in our lineup is just it's brutal.
It is. And the issue for us is you have a bunch of hitters that are all or nothing for the most part. And if you're not hitting singles and you're not walking and you're striking out a ton, you could lead the league in homers, but 40% might be solo shots. And that's why you're averaging 3 runs a game. So from that perspective and the lineup perspective, that's why I'm like, is it that? For me though, here's I was thinking about this today because I knew this would be a topic, and I knew tonight was a big start. I'm all about momentum. Getting that big win last night and having Cole on the mound tonight, you got to win. You have to win tonight to continue that. But for me, in 2009, I believe we were under 500 at about this point in the season.
Yeah,
I think we were in Atlanta and we swept I believe it was Atlanta, but I know it was a National League team, but we swept. Like I said, I believe it was the Braves, and we were just off on the races there.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm not concerned about the slow start. I'm not.
Okay.
What concerns me and what really concerns me is the mental errors.
Yeah.
The mental errors of
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It was 9 times, I believe, last week or 9 times this season we're making outs at third base or home. That can't happen. And those are mental mistakes that cannot happen. Bats will come around. Pitching will come around. There's too much talent there. At the end of the day, you can't keep making these mental errors. Whether you blame Boone, whoever you blame, I don't care. But it's the mental mistakes are what scares me, and those need to be corrected now.
And I will let Mike go into the Tennessee Titans question because I know he wants to go there. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, I definitely am. I'm excited to talk about that a little bit. So, the Yankees are struggling. They're lacking that, that firepower in their lineup. But your Tennessee Titans, added a pretty big, cleanup hitter, so to speak, into that offense. That they're a great offense as it was, but how is the atmosphere over there in the front office? With you guys, trying to sell those tickets and people calling in and being like, I need to see this firsthand this year. So what's the atmosphere there?
10:30 on Sunday. The news broke. We got a message from our director. Yeah, Sunday's a work day, boys.
Wow.
So
that's what I'm talking about. Money never sleeps.
It has been, and I'll tell you down here, it has been an incredible, not just with the Julio news, but just with the positive momentum of the team and people, combination of that, the team performance and people wanting to get back out. Yeah. We, a little lifting up the rug a little bit, we surpassed our yearly revenue and our full season memberships already. And that's the record for our time in Tennessee. So that just right off the bat goes to show.
Nice.
But the Julio news, I mean, it has been a long last few weeks, but it's been super exciting. Everybody is fired up for the team, for the offense. It's going to be scary for a lot of defenses out there. I think the big thing for us and the challenge that we're going to have and the biggest question mark is our defense. It's going to be, I know last year we tried to buy our fix with Clowney and Beasley, and we all know how that one worked out. Beasley got cut halfway through the year, and Clowney had no sacks and got hurt, and that was it. So for us, I think J-Rob really put an emphasis on not just getting the big name this year, but going and trying to get the right pieces that fit our culture, which is team first, 100%. Team first. I mean, in his press conference for Julio, he mentioned all the attributes and traits that he's going to have. He mentioned blocking twice, and he didn't mention anything else twice. So it just goes to show it's the little things that matter. And, bring the pieces we brought in on defense, we're going to have to see how they gel together. But overall, the pulse of this city is all Titans blue right now, and we couldn't be more excited to kick this thing off.
Yeah, I mean, you don't got to worry about defense if Derrick Henry and the whole, Tennessee Titans are just on the field for 40 minutes of the game.
Yeah, what do you do on offense? I mean, what do? You stack the box. You're gonna have one-on-one,
and then you have AJ Brown and Julio Jones wide open. Not to mention Jonnu.
And Jonnu, we missed Jonnu. So Jonnu signed with the Patriots, unfortunately.
Oh, did he?
So he's gonna mark it down right now. And if you want to say he's a sleeper, he's not really a sleeper, but having a breakout year this year, that's my pick. I think him and Belichick are going to form something special there. But no, for us, I mean, what do? You want to double team the outside?
Yeah.
Put the ball to that linebacker and just let him run you over. It's one of those. It's a scary. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, those defenses are going to have a tough time. We might catch that Jets-Titans game over here in New York, but I don't know how that one's going to play out if we go to that one. But it'll be interesting to witness all that greatness, on the Tennessee offense and just watch that. I mean, you want to see action, right? I mean, you want to see the Jets win for our sake, but a good game. A good and entertaining game is what it's all about when you're gonna go out there and spend all that money to go to a football game for sure.
At the end of the day, it's all about the experience, and I have
fan experience. There you go.
All the time, it's the experience, and that's really why I love what I do. Sports is one of the only things that everybody can benefit from. Whether you're a diehard fan, you're just going with a couple of friends or family, you're a business looking to close a deal. It doesn't matter who you are. You can benefit from getting out to a sporting event. The score could be 40-0. You'd be pissed off, but you still had that experience, and it's a memory for the rest of your life, right? Obviously, if you're a fan, you're not too happy with the score, but you still had that overall experience. So, I think in terms of that, that's really why I love what I do.
Yeah, because you're not just selling tickets, you're selling memories.
Spot on. Yeah,
that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So you are helping people, even though you're, people have to buy the tickets. They're buying this memory, and you're helping them out and helping them get that opportunity to make that memory.
Spot on, and on top of that as well, we help people all the time, more on the fan side, solve a problem that they didn't know they had. You go out to 6 games a year, and you're buying them on StubHub, and you're getting railed with fees. And that's why we're there to help.
Yeah.
There's no fees or anything. We're there to help you.
Be careful. You might get a cease and desist from StubHub.
Yeah, at this point, they're all coming after you.
Hey, you know what? If you want to put in a nice little word over there in Tennessee, the playing the field community would like to, work together and get those fans. We want to help teams improve their fan engagement, and we want to help fans get engaged to each other. So it's a win-win for both of us.
I love it. Mike, whatever I can do to help, always.
Yeah. Well, I'm truly, psyched that you finally were able to get on here. I know you were busy schedule, but thank you for finally coming on.
Yeah.
If anybody needs any advice from you, as far as, getting started in the career in the sports world, or, like a sports tech company that's looking to get into the GamePlanU network, now's your time. Pitch yourself away.
Yeah. Just reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's it. But I will say, when you connect with me, send a note. Do show that you did an inch of research, and that I will run through a brick wall for you at that point. But don't just connect. So reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's number one. Feel free to email me, msharfenberg@titans.nfl.com. Always happy to have a conversation about anything, even if it's about football and just sports. I just love meeting people and helping however I can. So reach out, and like I said, however I can help, just let me know.
Awesome. Mike Scharfenberg, everybody. Mike,
thank you for coming on.
Thanks a lot. And you know what? You're always welcome on the show anytime. And we'll definitely be in touch for 100%.
Sure. Well, I appreciate it, boys. Have a great rest of your night. Keep crushing it out there. And Rick, let's start a little 10-game winning streak, right?
Yeah, man. Let's get it going.
There you go.
Man.
Let's do it.
If they go 3-7, I'm gonna come on the show in a month and be like, it's time for Boone to go. But I'm gonna wait.
I think they're still at 3-2.
So 3-7, I think you may start to get me on that side too. So
there we go. All right.
All right, fellas.
3-2 going into the bottom of the ninth. So they're going in for the closing, the closing inning there. So hopefully can close that out for you guys.
All right, guys. Take care, everybody.
Have a good night, Mike.
Bye. All right. Mike Scharfenberg, man. Great guy, man. Really motivated. Like, he's motivated to help people. That's great. It's amazing. There's just this community out there. Like, people don't know. Like, there's like things we don't know about that goes on out there. We're in our own little bubbles in the world. But there's a community out there in LinkedIn, and
you just got to go there and
find people who just want to help people and connect with people. It's great.
Yeah, people like helping people.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's just it's natural. For people to they get satisfaction out of it too. Helping somebody on their path. It's not all about making a buck. It's about just building relationships. And that's what sales is too. If anyone that's in sales, like I used to do sales, and it wasn't sales that I liked. I didn't. I was selling things that I didn't think helped people, and that's why I left. I'm like, I can't do this. And I want to help people. That's really why, I wanted to build Playing the Field. It's because I want sports fans to have that option, that one central platform they can go to find anything, whether it's a friend or somebody to join your, softball team, play a pickup basketball game, or to find your most valuable prospect. Find somebody that you mesh with, and build a romantic connection with somebody that loves sports just as much as you do. And so it's really not about it's not really just about the money. It's about just getting everyone together and helping people and all being a family, because sports fans, at the end of the day, you're like a family. I mean, you spend, especially, baseball, you're spending 162 games.
Yeah.
And it's, you're invested in these things.
Yeah.
So, but it was amazing having Mike on. So thanks again, Mike, for coming on, and everyone reach out to him if you want to set up virtual coffees, but send a note.
Yeah, send a note. And right now the Sixers are up 14. They were up 23, I think, and now they're up 14. So, and the Yankees are now, the Blue Jays have runners on second and third off Chapman here in the ninth. This is not good.
Okay.
Hey, that's a nice stadium in Buffalo, by the way.
Is it? I
Nice.
don't have it on right now.
Here we go. So
the Hawks caught up, though.
Yeah, runners on second and third, nobody out. Blow it up. Blow it up.
Second and third, nobody out.
And Grichuk is up. He's been 0 for 3 tonight. Let's see what happens here.
Oof. Oh, that's rough, man. That is.
This is Chapman's what, 4th year in that contract, or is this his final year in the contract?
4 sounds right.
Yeah, right. I think he's a little longer than 2.
4 sounds right.
Speaking of baseball and speaking of comments, did we discuss this at the opening? Or no?
We did not discuss it. Well, first, let's touch on the fact that Tampa Bay lost a pitcher to injury, and he blamed the stuff that they're putting on the balls and how they have to hold them differently, and it led to an injury. And because the MLB is rubbing the balls up, so to speak. So Red Sox great, Mets great. Mr. Pedro Martinez on MLB Tonight last night says if it was, quote unquote, I'm pretty sure I got this right. If it was my game, I dictate how I want my balls rubbed up. And he said, if somebody else is rubbing my balls and it doesn't feel comfortable, I'm going to have a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think he fully thought out what was happening at that time. And a couple of those anchors, you could see some smirks forming there on the wide shot there. But that shit was that was funny.
That was hilarious.
If you did not see the clip, go search Pedro Martinez on Twitter or whatever, and it's there, and it's hilarious.
Pedro apparently completely forgot that he was on national television when he made those comments. But I mean,
it's just no. I think it's us with dirty minds that find it funny. Like the message was still clear. Like he still made sense. It's just you kind of have to word it a little bit differently instead of it like I'm the only one that's allowed to rub up my balls or know how I want my balls rubbed up. I mean,
that was uncomfortable, but
it was questionable to say the least.
Listen, Pedro had a little moment there, but he clearly knows what he's talking about in terms of
he knows exactly what
because he was
exactly how he wants his balls.
One of the greatest pitchers ever to play the game.
Yes.
But again, Pedro, we do not want to know how your balls were stuffed up.
He knows how to control his balls, but not really his words.
Yes.
So,
Pedro, have you thought about Manscaped? Get 20% off when you sign up to Manscaped. 1-0. I mean, 3-2.
Shameless plug there.
Shameless plug. Santiago Espinal's up. Yankees got it out here. So now the defense is back. Hopefully, they're playing to give up a run, see if they can get out of this predicament that Chapman got in here. But in the ninth and 1 out.
Well, speaking of that, the AL East over there, Tampa Bay is rolling. They lost to the White Sox. The White Sox are the best team in baseball right now. But I want to touch on Tampa Bay a little bit. Like Tampa Bay is just on a roll, man. Lately, you got Tampa Bay leading the division by a lot in the AL East. Mm-hmm. And then you got the Bucks fresh off of a Super Bowl. You have the Lightning fresh off of a Stanley Cup, and the Lightning tied it up 1-1 against the Islanders last night, and now it goes back to New York for the Islanders. So it's a good position for the Islanders to be in. after losing to Tampa Bay in last year's playoffs. But winning that first game definitely set a nicer tone than last year was.
Yep.
So hopefully the Islanders can come back tomorrow, take a 2-1 lead there.
Now, is that game at the Coliseum or is that
Bay.
game in Tampa?
No. Tomorrow, I believe it's tomorrow, is New York because they won the first. Game 1 was in Tampa Bay and 2 was in Tampa Bay. Yeah. The Islanders took game 1 in Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay evened it up last night in their own arena. So it's good to at least have that one win under their belt coming back home to New York.
All right, so there you go. Let's hope let's go Islanders, man. Let's get a W here.
Yeah. Yes.
Tomorrow night against Milwaukee. They go to close it out in Milwaukee in a game 6. Let's see if Kevin Durant can repeat his
Do they close it?
Do they close it out?
Kyrie's still going to be out.
Probably, I think he's going to be out. I think this is going to go 7. Milwaukee, listen, man, if you have Kyrie out and you have James Harden playing literally on one leg and you can't win the series, I don't care what else you do. Milwaukee is it's incredible. But, that should be fun tomorrow night. What else? Mini camps opened up. Jets looking pretty good out there. Elijah Moore is going to be a future star. The Odell Beckham Jr. is looking well in Cleveland.
Who was throwing picks you were mentioning?
Tua Tagovailoa was not looking good at minicamp throwing interceptions. And if you're the Miami Dolphins, you have got to start getting a little worried about that. And so that's what's been going on, yeah.
Yeah, so, big games tomorrow. How are the Yankees doing? Still
3-2. 3-2. Who's up here? Espinal's up. Chapman's 2-1 here. He's got it.
No outs, second and third?
No, there's 1 out. Runners on second and third, 1 out.
Okay.
Yankees lead 3-2. Espinal's up. It counts 2-1.
Gotcha.
Chapman is just missing. Yeah, it's not looking good.
Yeah. Mets are up 6-1, and they're going to the top of the 9th to try to take the first 3 from the Cubs. So looking to close this game out with the DeGrom shortened start.
Yeah, and Philadelphia
dominant start, but shortened nonetheless because of injury, unfortunately. So let's see what happens there. Like you said, baseball is definitely heating up. Summer is Monday. Summer's coming Monday. Oh, wow. And, over here in New York, they're lifting social distancing and, we're starting to open up. Yeah. Starting to open things up. And, obviously the NFL teams already thought, they were going to be 100% opening day. And it's looking like that. It's looking like that's going to happen. Yep. So we're back, everybody. We're here. Speaking of being back, we will be back again next Monday to kick off the summer. And then after next week, we'll take a little bit of a hiatus.
We'll be off for a month, people.
Yeah, we're going to take a little bit of a break, enjoy a little bit of the summer, catch some games, come out there with all you fans. We'll keep you posted on Instagram, Twitter, so please follow us at Fan Experience Pod on Instagram, at the Fans Pod on Twitter. Hit us up. Don't be shy. Our DMs are always open. And tell us what you want us to do when we get to episode 100, because this is 90. We'll have 91 and 92 next week. And 100 is going to come before when we come back. So, tell us what you want us to do and where we should have it, like an on-location spot. You tell us. We're open to all suggestions. Until next week, everybody, enjoy the week and weekend of baseball, of sports, and we will see you next Monday.
Peace, everybody. See you next Monday.
Have a good one.